Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. And again, we have a lot to talk about this week. A lot's happening in the secondary market. Many of the card price increases are revolving around some of these early Modern Horizons 2 previews we have been seeing. We'll address some of that as we go through the video today. A lot of other cards are going up again because a lot of Commander players are building new decks around cards from Commander 2021, as well as cards from Strixhaven. One thing we won't talk about in this video, though, like I addressed last week in the video, some of these cards that are being really egregiously market manipulated that we keep seeing week after week, I'm just going to leave those off. They're cards that we saw recently, like the Cryptic Command from the list, Chilean Teller of Tales from the list, Denizens of the Deep from Portal Second Age, the Forest from Dual Decks Knights vs. Dragons. If there's any additional news on cards like that in the future, I'll let you know. But right now, it just looks like they're being manipulated for the sake of being manipulated. Also, like the last few videos, we will continue to have a $2 threshold. None of the cards we talk about are moving less than $2 up or down today. Quickly, before we get into all the details, though, just a fast reminder, if you go to FlipsideGaming.com, you can use that Heroes promo code to save 10% on orders over $10. Currently, you can pre-order Modern Horizons 2 products there. They also did restock on Strixhaven Japanese set booster boxes. And they have a whole lot of other things on their website as well. Remember, if your order is over $100 or it consists only of singles, then shipping will be free in the United States. Also, whenever you use the promo code, it does support the channel, which is always appreciated. So thank you. And without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, we'll begin as we always do with the Standard Legal Spotlight. This is where we look at cards that are Standard Legal moving the most this week. And there's not a lot to talk about here. Again, for the most part, Standard Legal cards are very quiet. They're not really moving up all that much. They're not really moving down all that much. I think everybody's in a holding pattern. They want to wait and see what's going to happen when it comes to the future of tournaments. But let's see what is going on. First, we have Brazen Borrower from the list. It goes up 465 to 3544. And this was only on the list through one set. It was the Zendikar Rising set. In Standard, this sees a lot of play. Prismari Midrange, Temur Ramp, and more. Pioneer, it's an Arclight Phoenix and more there. It's also found in many builds in Modern, Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. And finally, for this section, another card that is from the list and has a showcase frame. It is Bonecrusher Giant. It goes up 1730 to 2503. This was added with Kaldheim, but taken away with Strixhaven, so again, only there through one set. This gets a ton of standard play, though. It's in Mono Red Aggro, Temur Ramp, Winota builds. It's also in various adventures and mid-range builds, plus much more. This also continues to see a good amount of play in other formats, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, and Commander. Overall, though, when it comes to both of the cards we just looked at, I think they're moving as much as they are because of rarity in the secondary market more than anything right now. And that quickly brings us to the Pioneer Legal Spotlight. No cards to talk about going down in value this week, but we do have some going up in value. Let's take a look. First, we have Thought Not Seer. This is the copy from the list, only there through Zendikar Rising. It goes up $2.10 this week to $14. In Modern, this is in Eldrazi Tron. In Legacy, it's in Eldrazi Punishing Fire and more. Also, this gets Vintage and Commander play. Next is Archangel Thune from Magic 2014. It goes up $2.54 to $28.99. Popular Commander card. It's in a whole lot of builds there, including Lisa Shroud of Dusk. Also now, it is seeing additional play in builds around Felisa Fang of Silverquill. Some players are picking this up as an upgrade to the Silverquill Statement Commander 2021 deck. Others are building around Felisa from scratch. Shivan Dragon, that 5th edition copy climbing again up $2.69 to $17.99. This sees a little Commander play, and some players are interested in classic dragons right now, since Dungeons & Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms is coming this summer. We even got some preview cards already from that set, and one is a 5-color legendary dragon, Tiamat. As for Told is back again. It goes up $3.08 to $21.96. This is in Modern Electro Balance. It's also seen some increased Commander play around Veyran Voice of Duality, either as an upgrade to the Prismari Performance deck, or again, sometimes just people are building around that card from scratch. But the biggest reason this is moving right now is due to Modern Horizons 2. Now, a few weeks back, there was a leaked rumor that said we would see a cycle of suspend cards that do not have casting costs. And those type of cards do work really well with As Foretold. Well, now Wizards has confirmed that, and they showed us one of the cards already. That is Profane Tutor. Next, we have another returning card to the weekend market watch. It is Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. It goes up $5.49 this week to $41.27. In Pioneer, you're going to find this in Nib to Light, control builds, taking turns. Modern control decks will use this as well, and other decks in that format. There is speculation that modern control builds will get better when Modern Horizons 2 comes out, since they are reprinting Counterspell there, which will make it modern legal. This also sees a good amount of commander play and attracts the Praetor's Voice and much more. And our last card in this section is Icy Manipulator. This is the copy from Deckmasters Garfield vs. Finkel that comes in foil in that product. It goes up $10.29 this week to $20.75. This card has been pretty turbulent recently because it has been dry in the online secondary market. It does see some commander play in various builds, old and new. And that takes us to the Modern Legal Spotlight. We do have some cards to look at that are going down in value. We'll start there. Doubling Season, the one from Battle Bond, goes down $4.96 this week to $80.99. This is retracting after some recent increases. This is a huge commander card. You already know that, but it started seeing more play when Commander 2021 and Strixhaven came out. It is a great upgrade to both the Quantum Quandrix and Witherbloom Witchcraft commander builds. Also, it has seen play in new commander decks around cards from those Commander 2021 builds, as well as new cards from Strixhaven. Some examples are Adrix and Neb Twincasters, Beladros Witherbloom, Essex Fractal Bloom, and Gaio Master Chef. Scalding Tarn, this is the copy from Secret Lair Ultimate Edition. It goes down $5.08 this week to $74.84. Last week, we saw a number of enemy fetch lands going down in value. This week, this is the one losing the most value. Wizards did make the announcement a long time ago that we would see enemy fetch lands in Modern Horizons 2. Well, not too long ago, they did officially show them off, and ever since then, the cards have been losing value for the most part. Now, that reveal did tell us a few things. First off, we found out they would be rare, they would be in the regular set. Secondly, we saw that there's going to be variations of them. There's an extended art version, and there's also a classic border version. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of these cards circulating this summer. This, like most fetch lands, sees play wherever it is legal, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. Cavern of Souls, the copy from Modern Masters 2017, goes down $5.46 this week to $87.08. This did join the list with Keldheim, and because of that, there has been a little bit of price stabilization going on. But there is another copy of the card that is going up in value, which you will see later in the video. In Modern, you'll find this in Eldrazi-Tron, Amulet Titan, and much more. Also, this gets Legacy and Vintage play. Plus, it is a highly played commander card in various builds. Savra, Queen of the Golgari. This is the one from Ravnica, City of Guilds. The Guild Kit copy, at least right now, is staying relatively steady, but this one is going down $9.76 this week to $16.93. Of course, this is some normalization after some big recent spikes. This is a fairly popular commander, but it is in new builds around some Strixhaven cards. Beladros Witherbloom, Dina Soul Steeper, and Valentin Dean of the Vein / Lisette Dean of the Root, just to name a few. Ren and 6, the copy from the list. This goes down $12.23 to $84.99 this week. This was just removed from the list with Strixhaven. However, last week this card saw a pretty unnatural spike, so this is more of a price correction than anything this week. In Modern, this is in the Taking Turns deck though, and that deck is performing really well on Magic the Gathering Online right now. Ever since Strixhaven came out, that deck has been adding a new card, Velomachus Lorehold, and it does look like that card is making it a lot better. This also sees play in Nib to Light, Grow Midrange, Jund, many times Scapeshift, and more there. Also, this sees Vintage and Commander play. Savor the moment. Do I see a Shadowmoor rare that has yet to be reprinted? I believe I do. This goes up $8.90 this week to $23.99. And if you watch these videos, you know what I'm going to say here. Just one time, though. This is from a time period in Magic where there was a recession in the game, so less packs were cracked. Some of these rares, if people start paying attention to them and they've yet to be reprinted, they tend to get a little spiky, and that's what you're seeing here. So why are people paying attention to this card? Well, I just alluded to it. This is part of the Modern Taking Turns deck. This also does see a little commander play too. Next we have Time Stretch from 10th edition. It goes up $9.07 to $34.99. This is seeing increased commander play. Some people are picking this up as an upgrade to the Prismari Performance deck, but it can also be found in new builds around cards from Commander 2021 as well as Strixhaven. Things like Zaphi Thunder Conductor, Jadzi Oracle of Arcavios / Journey to the Oracle, Rutha Mercurial Artist. Additionally, this got a Command Zone mention this week as a card you might want to play in Zaphi builds. Snapcaster Mage, check this out. 3 copies. Innistrad up $4.64 to $70.49. Modern Masters 2017 up $4.75 to $67.80. Ultimate Masters goes up $9.27 to $75.01. Now, this is in Through the Breach decks in Modern, and that is another deck that is doing well on MTGO right now. A copy of that deck came in 4th place in a recent Modern Challenge, as a matter of fact. This is also in Control builds and more in that format. Now, not only could Control builds perhaps get better when Counterspell becomes legal there, but Through the Breach might be able to get a little bit better as well, and both of those decks seem extremely good in the format already. Now remember, even though there's not a lot of people sitting down to play Paper Modern, there are people thinking about the future. When that day does come, when tournaments commence, they want to make sure they have the cards before more spikes happen. And this is one of those staples that you know is going to be good pretty much no matter what. Beyond Modern, this is a good Legacy and Vintage card too. It sees play there. In Commander, this has received some increased play as an upgrade to Prismari Performance. It's also in a number of new builds around Commander 2021 and Strixhaven cards, including Veyran Voice of Duality and Galazeth Prismari. Emrakul, the Eon's Torn, a card that is banned in Commander, so we cannot blame that format for this spike. This is usually in the sideboard, though, of Modern Taking Turns decks that are getting hot. And this is in the Modern Through the Breach builds, which we just discussed as well. It's also in some other places in the format. Legacy, you'll find this in Sneak and Show and Omnitel, as well as Mono Green Cloud Post. Those decks are all doing well in that format too. Modern Masters 2017 goes up $6.30 to $44.99. The list copy goes up $6.35 to $50. And Ultimate Masters goes up $9.88 to $49.88. And our last card in this section is Auriok Champion. That copy from Fifth Dawn is jumping again. It goes up $21.87 this week to $79.46. This has been a very popular Modern card. It's in Heliod Company, Hammer Time, Humans, and more there. Also, it does see some Commander play too. I've seen it in Shadrick Silverquill recently and more. And that's going to take us to the Vintage Spotlight. Remember, market manipulation is still strong out there. I tried to steer away from a lot of really aggressive market manipulation in this section. There's one card at the end I did want to show you, though, because it actually is increasing in value, just not to the rate that it appears to be. Also, too, remember, more and more people are grading some of these vintage cards than ever, even compared to just a few months ago. So you do have to think about pricing in a different way, since that data is getting into the data of the raw cards, and it does look like some of these cards are going up pretty aggressively. That might not necessarily truly be the case. Additionally, remember, like all parts of this video, we're talking about very high-grade cards here. So if you shop around, since these are average prices, you can by definition find them cheaper than you see here. But also, too, if you want to get a copy that has seen some wear, you can get these cards a lot cheaper, don't forget that. So like I have been doing with this section recently, what you'll see on the screen is a price that is similar to something you might see if you looked at a price tracking website. But if true sales don't line up with that price, I will let you know. First off, we have Swords to Plowshares from Unlimited. It goes up $11.10 to $54.99 this week. Sunglasses of Urza from Unlimited. It goes up $12.12 to $47.41. Mycosynthellatus, the copy from Darksteel, the original. This goes up $12.52 this week to $72.19. Now, this one sees Legacy playing Karn Echoes and more. Also, in Commander, it is a good upgrade to Lorehold Legacies, that Commander 2021 deck. It's also new builds around cards from that deck, as well as cards from Strixhaven. Things like Oscar the Reconstructor, Alibu Ancient Witness, Galazeth Prismari. On top of that, we know that artifact strategies will play a role in Modern Horizons 2. This card could potentially get better in the future. Kismet from Legends, this goes up $12.77 to $53.97. Cosmic Horror from Legends goes up $13.07 to $34.99. Wow, it took us a while, but the first reserve list card of the day, as you can tell from the upper right-hand corner, this is Ramses Overdark. It goes up $13.60 to $117. Tropical Island, the copy from Revised, goes up $14.40 to $850. Howling Mine from Unlimited, up $15.53 to $96.47. Farmstead from Unlimited, up $17.48 to $52.47. Vivictus Asmati from Legends, this goes up $17.98 to $107.48. Counterspell, 2 copies to mention since they are both going up in value. Dual Decks Jace vs. Chandra. This goes up $2.46 to $7.49. The Unlimited copy goes up $18.75 to $80.58. It's a huge Commander card though. It's in many decks old and new. But the main reason copies like these two are moving the way they are is because, like we mentioned earlier, Counterspell is going to become Modern legal with the release of Modern Horizons 2. Bartel Runax. This goes up $20.01 to $120. Royal Assassin from Unlimited jumps up $24.98 to $254.97. Jovial Evil, this goes up $28.31 to $149.99. Elvish Archers from Unlimited up $29.30 to $84.86. Merchant Ship, this goes up $32.10 to $359.15. Raging River from Unlimited, this goes up $40.05 to $269.99. Dakin Blackblade, this is the one from Legends, it goes up $41.32 to $296.99. Now we just got a preview of Dakin's card in Modern Horizons 2. Turns out indeed this is a Planeswalker card, and here it is. Dakin Shadowslayer. This alone is just bringing some additional attention to the original Dakin. Volcanic Island from Revised, it goes up $45 to $8.95. Wrath of God from Unlimited up $66.67 to $154.99. War Elephant from Arabian Nights. Now there's two different variations of this one. The A variation is going up $20.19 to $27.75. That is the one that has the darker casting cost in the upper right hand corner. The B variation is the one you see on the screen with the lighter casting cost. It goes up $78.31 to $200. Serendip Jin, this goes up $88.91 to $510.75. Gwendolyn de Corsai, this goes up $92 to $685. Living Lands, this is the copy from Unlimited, going up $103 this week to $119.99. When it comes to the true price, if you look at real sales, this does fall in between high-grade raw and high-grade graded copies, but you can get high-grade raw copies a lot cheaper than this. They will run you probably about $20, $25 right now, so just keep that in mind. With that being said, there is something else interesting about this particular card. Typically, when we see these Unlimited cards going up or cards from any of these early sets, it is collectors driving the price. They want to collect these cards, they want to get them graded in some cases, or in other cases, 93, 94 players might want the cards. However, Commander players are getting in on this one, and that is because of a card from the Witherbloom Witchcraft Commander 2021 deck. The card is Eudora Grave Gardener. If you have Eudora and some kind of sack outlet like Altar of Dementia or Ashnod's Altar, for example, which you'll see why I chose that one later, you can sacrifice your creatures and have them return as 2/2 forest creatures and keep sacrificing them to create a loop. The original Aladdin's Ring from Arabian Nights up $121.99 to $814.96. Is this for real? Well, not really. High-grade raw copies can sell for about $200 now. I have not seen any high-grade graded copies sell for a while, though. Now, when the next one does sell, I'm sure it will go for a higher price than they used to go for. Probably not this high, though. This could be sellers fishing for an offer, and that could be what's causing this price jump. Shahrazad, this goes up $158.21 this week to $7.99. That price does fall between high-grade raw and high-grade graded copies, but honestly, it's actually closer to the raw copies. Graded ones can cost a bit more than this. Plateau from Unlimited, going up $240.01 to $1,499.95. Well, in reality, high-grade raw copies are selling between $750 and $800. Graded copies can break $1,000, but there has not been a sale for a while. The next one could get close to this. Underground Sea revised up $23.07 to $936. Unlimited up $249.50 to $2,499. And yeah, that is between high-grade raw and high-grade graded copies. And true of this card too, the Abyss, this price does fall between high-grade raw and high-grade graded. It goes up $299 to $1,999. Time Walk from Unlimited up $437.50 to $4,387.50. Now, this is another example where it falls in between high-grade raw and high-grade graded, but this price is actually closer to the high-grade raw copies. High-grade graded copies could run you more than this. Jazam Jin, this is going up $539.60 to $3,999, or is it? Well, the price is closer to the high-grade graded sales. High-grade raws can break about $2,000 though. Next is Moat. It goes up $779.95 to $2,999.95. Now, this bump is coming from basically one raw copy sale. The card sold for $3,200, which is quite unusual. Is that an anomaly? Is it a sign of things to come? I guess time will tell. And finally, for this section, we have Island of Wak Wak. At first, I was going to exclude this card because obviously it is being market manipulated pretty aggressively. It goes up in theory $1,248.78 to $4,975.50. But the reason I kept it up here is because I saw something interesting when I looked at sales. The high-grade raw copies were selling for about $200 last week. This week, they're selling for about $500, so the card is going up in value. High-grade graded copies are still selling for about $1,000, but with the raw copies moving, I would expect that to move pretty soon too. All right, time for the Commander Spotlight. A lot of cards to talk about, so let's jump in. First, we have Land Tax from the Battle Royale box set. This goes up $2 to $44. Great Commander card in many builds, old and new. Morphon the Boundless. This is the copy from the list that did join the list with Kjell time. It goes up $209 this week to $28.98. Very popular commander. Many times you'll find this in Tribal Dragon or Sliver builds. Keldoran Outpost. This does get a little commander play, but probably moving more so due to its status on the reserve list this week. It goes up a little bit, $209 to $29.99. Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre from Modern Masters 2015. It goes up $212 to $75.97. This is in Commander Kozilek, the Great Distortion builds, and much more. Nature's Revolt, the copy from 7th edition, goes up $219 this week to $449. And this one is moving for the same reasons Living Lands is moving, which we talked about a little bit ago. Wormcoil Engine, the copy from Double Masters. It goes up $219 this week to $35. This is a good upgrade to Lorehold Legacies or even to Quantum Quandrix. It is seeing play now in some new Commander builds around Commander 2021 and Strixhaven cards. Oscar the Reconstructor, Alibu Ancient Witness, Essex Fractal Bloom, Hoffrey Ghostforge. This also gets modern play in Tron builds and more. And on top of that, you'll find this in Legacy and Vintage decks as well. Dust Bowl from Mercadian Masks. This goes up $222 to $1971. Now, this does see some commander play in different builds. I do think this could be getting a push, though, from a Modern Horizons 2 preview we saw a little while ago. That is Urza's Saga. This is a saga as well as a non-basic land. So, especially if there's more cards like this in the set, it is possible that things like Dust Bowl or other cards like it could see more commander play in the future. Attrition from Commander up $231 to $1449. Although if I pulled the price for this one at the same exact time I pulled it last week, I think this would have fallen off. It has been pretty stable for the most part. Now, with that being said, though, this has seen some increased commander play in Beladros Witherbloom builds. All right, the foreshadowing pays off. Ashnod's Altar from 6th edition goes up $231 to $1551. Now, this is a very popular commander card and combo enabler. We discussed one combo with this card earlier involving Eudora Gravegardener, as well as Nature's Revolt or Living Lands. But not only are commander players picking this up to upgrade Witherbloom Witchcraft, but they're also sometimes putting this in Silverquill Statement as well. Aside from that, this is seeing increased play around cards from those decks as well as new Strixhaven cards. And these examples are in addition to Eudora Gravegardener. We have Beladros Witherbloom, Exodus Overlord / Awaken the Blood Avatar, Felisa Fang of Silverquill, and Guillaume Master Chef. Here's some more non-basic land hate. This is back to basics. It goes up $232 to $13.95, and it is the Ultimate Masters copy we're looking at here. This gets commander play in a number of builds, including Urza Lord High Artificer, and now Gelazeth Prismari. Additionally, this also sees a lot of legacy play. Fury Storm, this goes up $234 to $11.25. This is great in commander builds with Magecraft. Very good upgrade to Prismari Performance. Overall, though, this is seeing increased commander play in builds like Exodus Overlord, Veyron Voice of Duality, Zaphi Thunder Conductor, and Gelazeth Prismari. Painter's Servant from Shadowmoor, it goes up $241 to $58. This does see some commander play in various builds. In Legacy, you'll find this in Painter's Grindstone decks. Nurkana Revenant, this is the original one from Rise of the Eldrazi. It goes up $246 to $1943. This is found in a lot of mono-black commander decks, much like a card that is being reprinted in Modern Horizons 2, Cabal Coffers, and I don't think that's a complete coincidence. Now, when it comes to Cabal Coffers, I haven't featured those cards in the video today, but they are starting to lose value, so keep an eye on those if you're looking to pick up a copy. Getting back to this card, though, this has seen some increased commander play in Shadrick Silverquill builds. The original Mishra's Bauble from Cold Snap is next. It goes up $257 to $10.90. This is a good upgrade to the Lorehold Legacies deck. This works great with Oscar the Reconstructor in that deck, or in an original build around that card. This has also seen some increased commander play in Gelazeth Prismari decks as well. Big modern card too. It's in Jund, Boros Aggro, Hammer Time, and more there. And we know now as well that Modern Horizons 2 is going to have a cheap artifact strategy in the set. Maybe this card gets better in the future. Here's another zero-cost artifact. It is Chrome Mox from Eternal Masters. It goes up $262 this week to $66.38. Another very popular commander card in many different builds, old and new. In Legacy, this is in Mono Red Prison, the Epic Storm, and more. Birds of Paradise, this 7th edition copy up $266 to $18. Huge commander card, sees a ton of play in the format. also found in Modern as well as Legacy builds. Dark Confidant from Double Masters up 279 to 3715. Yet another card that gets a lot of Commander play, seeing more play now next to Zoric Overlord. In Modern, you'll find this in the Rock and more there. Also see some Legacy and Vintage play too. Captain Sisse from Invasion. This goes up 284 to 2299. This is a fairly popular commander, and it's in the 99 of builds like Asika Guided the Tree / the Prismatic Bridge. Also, Wizards did say that Modern Horizons 2 will have more legendary creatures compared to the first set, which could lead to some spec on a card like this. Force of Will from Double Masters up 287 to 136.51. Yet another huge commander card in a lot of decks old and new. Also sees a ton of Legacy and Vintage play. Plus, it got a Command Zone podcast mention this week too. Last Chance on the move again, the one from Starter 1999, getting a little dry in the secondary market this week online. It goes up 289 to 94.32. This is in Obeka Brute Chronologist builds and more in Commander. Reprocess, the Urza Saga copy, goes up $2.98 to $8.49. This is getting a lot of play now in Commander due to a card from Witherbloom Witchcraft. Some players are building around that card from scratch. Others are picking this up as an upgrade to the deck. That card is Guillaume, Master Chef. Platinum Empyrean. This is the one from Ultimate Masters. It goes up 303 to 22.95. I have seen this in some Oscar the Reconstructor builds, or it could simply be a decent upgrade to Lorehold Legacies. This also is in Kozilek the Great Distortion, another very popular commander build, and of course other places too in the format. In Modern, many times this is in the sideboard of Scapeshift, or the very popular, like we talked about, Through the Breach deck. Modern Horizons 2, though, is another reason this card could be going up in value, because it does lend support to Reanimation, and this next card in particular that was previewed could be pushing this at least in part. Unmarked Grave. This allows you to search your library for a non-legendary card and put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. Cryptic Commands, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we're not going to talk about that list copy, which is being egregiously market manipulated. It is losing value, but it still has a way out there price. That copy from the list was only there through one set, Zendikar Rising, so it's not having a big impact on other copies of the card. As you can see here, these are going up. Modern Masters 2015 up 208 to 28.32. Modern Masters goes up 308 to 27.99. Now this has seen some increased commander play. Some players have picked this up as an upgrade to Prismari Performance. Others are using this in new commander builds around cards from that deck or other cards from Strixhaven like Veyran Voice of Duality, Octavia Living Thesis, Jadzi Oracle of Arcavios. In Modern though, this is in a couple big decks. Through the Breach and Control builds. Both of those we discussed a number of times already in the video. Blood Moon, the copy from the Dark, is rebounding a little bit after some big losses. It goes up 311 this week to 99.99. In Commander, this is in Krenko Mob Boss and much more. Modern, it's in Gruul Midrange, Mono Red Aggro, Electro Balance, and more there. Also, this is in a number of Legacy decks. Necropotence from Iconic Masters, it goes up 318 this week to 56.75. This is a popular commander card, also seeing play in some new builds there like Dina Soul Steeper or Beladros Witherbloom. This is another card you might find in a mono black deck in Commander as well. In Vintage, this is in Doomsday and more. Retract, this goes up 327 to $10, and this does see a little commander play, usually in Joyro Weatherlight Captain builds. Earlier, we saw the Modern Horizons 2 preview Urza Saga. And we know now as well that Modern Horizons 2 is going to have a cheap artifact strategy in the set. If those cards are good enough, there's a chance that we could see a stronger version of the Cheerios deck in the future. If that's the case, this is a card that will most certainly show up there. Adhikar Waste, this is the copy from 10th edition. It goes up 327 to 1994. These ally pain lands basically only see play in Commander, but they are found in a lot of different builds. Tanglewire from Nemesis. This does see commander play in various builds. It is getting harder and harder to find this original copy in good condition too. It goes up 342 to 23.88. Here's the copy of Cavern of Souls that's going up in value. This is the one from Ultimate Masters. It increases 346 this week to $85. Thrumming Stone, the original one from Cold Snap. The copy from the list was removed with Strixhaven, and this one's going up this week 347 to 64.41. And this has seen increased commander play in various builds, old and new, alongside a new Strixhaven card, Dragon's Approach. Krark's Thumb is back again. The Mirrodin copy goes up $211 to $25. The copy from the list goes up $361 to $23.49. This does see some commander play, but this card always spikes when there's a new legendary creature that has a coin flip ability. And you guessed it, just such a thing was previewed in Modern Horizons 2. The card is Yusri Fortune's Flame, and there could be other cards in the set that have you flipping coins as well. Regardless though, I'm sure when this card comes out, Kark's Thumb will see some more play in Commander. Terror, this is the copy from the Battle Royale box set, getting a little dry in the secondary market online this week. It jumps up 367 to 574. It does see a little Commander play. Gilded Drake, this goes up 369 to 415.18. Pretty small percentage jump here, but it does give you an indication that this card is maybe poised to move again. This is getting a good amount of Commander play in various builds, and many times this is in Legacy Esper Vial. Lake of the Dead, another card that does see play in a number of mono-black Commander builds, among others. But like I said earlier, I don't think that's a coincidence considering Cabal Coffers is finally getting a reprint in Modern Horizons 2. And this card goes up $371 this week to $200. Mystical Tutor, the copy from the list, and this was only there during Kjell time. It goes up $385 this week to $35.24. Good upgrade to Prismari Performance. Also, this is in new builds around cards like Veyran Voice of Duality, Cody Vociferous Codex, and Galazeth Prismari. This also gets a good amount of vintage play too. Sulphurous Springs, another one of these Ally Pain lands. It goes up 416 to 1916. Liege of the Hollows. Now, this recently saw an increase due to the fact that it was getting additional Commander play in Toski Bearer of Secrets builds, but more recently, players saw that box art for the Modern Horizons 2 set booster box, and there is a squirrel on there surrounded by other squirrels. You might have caught it at the beginning of the video. That led to speculation a little while ago that we're going to get some kind of legendary Squirrel Lord in the set, and this card started to jump up. Now, I do think it's jumping up as much as it is, though, because it is a reserve list card. It's getting harder and harder to find all the time in good condition. This week it goes up $450 to $22.30. Winds of Change. Last week we had the 5th edition copy. This time it's the Portal copy that's drying up in the online marketplace a little bit. It goes up $482 to $55.21. And this is a solid Commander card in different builds. Nature's Lore. This is the copy from Portal's Second Age. It goes up $496 to $12.49. Again, this is a situation where this particular copy is getting a little bit dry online. As a matter of fact, this is getting another reprint now in a secret layer, the one that's called Psychedelic Show. When it comes to gameplay, though, this is a very popular Commander card. It's in a lot of different builds, old and new. This is especially good in 4 or 5 color decks. Cemetery Reaper, that copy from Arch Enemy, it's up one week, it's down another week. This week it's up $502 to $29.99. And again, that's due to the fact that there's not a lot of copies on sale right now online. This is found, however, in various Commander Zombie builds, and I have seen this appear in some Killian Ink Duelist decks too. Also, there was a little bit of leaked Modern Horizons 2 information that could be contributing to this just a little bit. I'll pause for a moment in case you don't want to hear the leaked information. You can just move on to the next card. There was somebody on a message board that said they had information about Modern Horizons 2. A lot of it seems to be coming true. They did mention that there would be a new legendary zombie in the set. Reflecting Pool, huge Commander mana base card in builds old and new, especially in 4 or 5 color builds again. This is also in some modern decks like Control or Through the Breach, for example. Again, I don't think that's a coincidence either. Conspiracy goes up $333 to $33.97. Shadowmoor goes up $531 to $35. Mana Crypt, another 0 casting cost artifact here. The Double Masters copy goes up $250 to $160. Eternal Masters goes up $554 to $167.56. And of course, this is a great Commander card. It's in a ton of builds, old and new. Also a great vintage card. Death Coil Worm. This is a Portal Second Age card that is yet to see a reprint. It does get a tad bit of Commander play, but I think the reason it's been going up in value is simply because it is getting harder and harder to find in good condition. It goes up $587 this week to $14.99. And here's another Portal Second Age card, another card that's yet to be reprinted, yet another card that's getting hard to find in good condition. Sees a tad bit of Commander play, but this continues to jump. It is Norwood Priestess going up $10.88 this week to $134.50. And that takes us to the Premium Spotlight. There's still a ton of cards going up in value when it comes to premium cards in the secondary market. I could do a video every day and still not cover everything that's happening. But I always like to give you at least a glimpse into this world, give you a few examples of cards that are moving. Remember though, there is still a ton of market manipulation happening around premium cards. Just be careful if you're making any purchases, do your homework. Let's go ahead and look at the cards I selected for this week. First we have Retract, and this is the foil from Darksteel. Again, in this section, we're going to look at prices you might see on a price tracking website, and then I'll let you know if that price lines up with what I'm seeing for sales. This one is going up $26.92 to $45.99. Now, when it comes to true sales, the sales I saw were for about $15 for high-grade copies. The problem is there weren't many copies of this for sale, and those sales happened before the card got really hot. So what this is a reflection of is sellers pumping up the price, trying to find the right price point that somebody's going to bite on. Is it $45.99? Maybe, maybe not. I think we'll know more about this one next week. Snuff Out. This is the Marchetti mass foil copy. Now, much like the previous card, I have not seen any graded cards sell. And also like the previous card, this got hot recently, and we haven't seen a lot of recent sales. What we have been seeing is sellers increasing the price based on the fact that the non-foil copies have been going up in value. This week, in theory, this goes up $30.81 to $224.50. In reality, high-grade raw copies are selling for about $45. But again, I know future copies are going to sell for more. Will they sell for $224.50? Probably not right away. So when it comes to gameplay, since we haven't talked about this card yet, this is in a number of Commander decks, old and new, including the popular Yuriko the Tiger Shadow builds. Also, this happens to be another card you might find in a lot of mono black decks, and it does see a little legacy play too. And finally, we have Krark's Thumb, the foil copy for Mirrodin, going up $40.61 to $120. Now, I have seen these selling for about $65 to $75 raw and high grade. Again, have not seen any graded copies or anything like that sell. And much like the previous two cards, this card is getting hot fast. So again, I think you have sellers raising the price, looking to see what people are willing to spend. And it's not far-fetched to think people might get up to $120 soon, especially if they see more cards for Modern Horizons 2 that involve coin flipping. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. As always, hey, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.